I am now recording. So system administrator functions are just a couple of things. There's some background settings that, again, this only applies to org admin users. And you tell me who you want to set up as org admins and I'll do that. It's real easy to do. But it applies to org admin users. So some background settings. The biggest one that you'll get into is adding and managing users. So we're going to go into detail on that, talk a little bit more about the different types of users and what each person can do in there. There's a admin document management tool in there that you can look across all the documents in a particular group. So for instance, your fab plan, you're going to have, hundreds of documents in there. So you can kind of look at them all in one place, look at the traffic lights and determine, if you need to do anything or if you're all ready to go for your site visit and that sort of thing. Then we're going to talk a little bit about data exporting, which is a real simple function to take any of the data in the system and put it into basically an Excel spreadsheet. So let's go ahead and move forward here. We'll go past our little horse for the day. So we're going to talk about settings and configurations to start with. And then user management is the big one. This is the one we'll spend most time on. Administrator document management is just a single tool, basically. It allows you to look at all the documents in a single group. And then data export. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So settings and configuration. Let's go back to the dashboard here. To get to settings and configuration, you're going to go to the main menu up here, and then you're going to go down to settings. So here's the basic settings over here. It gives you the number of licensed users you have in here, the account type live. Some of these are just things that I have control of. The expiration date on your account. Top level group. So typically that level 1 group, the agency or the department or whatever is your level 1 group. Some people change this. If you have like a multi-jurisdictional thing going on, they can change that, but typically it's going to stay where it is. There's 4 graphics in here. So this is your page header graphic. This is your logo, and then a couple of the right arrow and the check mark here. You can change those if you want to. Very seldom does that ever happen. And, if you want to put in like a new page header, if you change that, just send it to me and I'll get it in there for you. But you can also change it. You just right click on it and say clear. It just removes that graphic. And then again, right click on it and insert into container. Now the one thing to be cautious of, it does say, this is an 800 pixel wide graphic. So reset the graphic to 800 pixels, and it can be a JPEG or PNG or anything you want it to be. And then your logo is 100. Typically it's square, 100 by 100, but just so it's 100 wide in there. And again, you can change these. Again, very seldom ever happens, but you do have the capability here.
I'm sorry, is that 800, like it has to be 800, or can it be below?
It should be exactly 800.
Okay.
It will stretch it, but can cause distortion, that kind of thing.
Right, absolutely. And then as far as the ratio, is it always going to expect like a 4x4, or is like a 16:9 acceptable?
It'll adapt. So just get the
Okay.
right, and it'll fit the page properly, and the rest of it will
Great.
adapt. Yeah. Okay. Admin activate partner. When you add new partners in the system on the main menu, the partners tool there, you can add the new partners. Only manager level users and administrators can activate the partner. So anybody can add a partner in the system. So they add a partner organization, they add the partner contacts, but they can't activate them, which means that they're in there, but you can't see them when you go to the activity screen on the bottom left corner and try to add a partner. The reason for that is to just assure that you don't have duplicates, because you get multiple people adding partners and they could have different nomenclature for the partners, but it's the same partner. So just a simple thing. And if you want to turn that off and let everybody, activate them as well, you can do that. Inactivity timeout is just that. So how long, you get on the phone and you expect to be a few minutes and it turns out to be an hour and a half, you're on the phone. The system will log itself out after, in this case, 60 minutes. So you can set it wherever you want. 60 is kind of the default. Default plan level. As you recall, when we were doing the reports, at the top right, there's service, goal, objective, and activity buttons up here. This is the same thing right here. Is all you're doing is saying, when I generate a report, the first view of the report is going to be at what level? In this case, it's the objective level. You can set it to activities. Most people leave it at objectives, and then if they do want to see the activities, they'll just select the button on the far right up there. And then this is something that I handle here. So that's the basic settings. Now, the notifications, this is those real-time planning email notifications. You can see that they're turned off right now. Turn them on, you just go down to yes here, and then you got to kind of select. So the first thing you're going to select is how often. You can say I want week 1, week 2, week 3, or week 4 of the month. Or I could say I want weeks 1 and 3, so twice a month basically, or weeks 2 and 4. I can say every week. And if you say every week, you could literally make it every day if you wanted to. You can say the last day of the month, or you can say a specific date of the month. So if you wanted to do the 15th of every month, you could put that in there. Most people choose, one of the weeks, week 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down here you're saying what day of the week, and you can select multiple. So if I said week 2 of the month on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I could do that. Typically, once a month is plenty for most people, but sometimes as you're adapting people to using the system, you could do it maybe weekly. So maybe every Wednesday they get an email. If I set this to every week schedule down here, they'll get that every week. Just giving them a little bit of time, hands-on time here. Now, there's 3 criteria that we've talked about for getting the email out. It's going to look at each person and it's going to say, okay, has this person updated their stuff in the last 30 days? Sometimes you don't. This is the one that would most likely get turned on. It doesn't very often, but sometimes it would. If you've got things that aren't necessarily on a monthly schedule, maybe they're on a quarterly schedule, so you don't really want somebody to be interrupted on a monthly schedule, so you can just turn that off. And when you do that, it doesn't care how long it's been since you've actually done the update. These will determine that. So behind schedule just is that calculation, beginning date, ending date, percent complete. And if it's behind schedule, then it's going to give you the email. And then overdue indicates that the ending date of the activity is before today, and the activity is not yet marked as 100% complete. So right now we'll go ahead and leave all 3 of these checked. Week 2 on Wednesday. I'm going to turn it off for now. So when you get ready to do this, after you've assigned people to activities and objectives, then you can just go in and turn this on and set the settings any way you want. And just kind of an FYI, if you set the settings today, they're going to take effect today. So it's immediate, and it's the emails go out at 1 o'clock in the morning, California time. So that's kind of when you're looking at it. So if I set it up and decide I want them to be up tomorrow, I just set it for, in this case, it'd be Saturday, which we probably wouldn't do, but you're going to set them up for Saturday and however you want to set them up there. So those are the notifications. Partner types is something we'll get into in the future, that once you really get involved in adding external partners, you can decide what kind of partner is this. Is it a state level partner in here? Is it a private sector partner? Different things like that. So you can just go in here and add partner types. It's just a text field, which allows you to then say, just show me all the state level partners or something like that. Again, we'll get into that later. Synonyms is something that's kind of nice. If you have a specific report that has to be generated with specific nomenclature, you can use the synonyms here. So for instance, organization might sometimes be called department. So I could change where it says organization to department. So anytime on a report where it would say organization, it's going to say department instead of that. And the same thing with all of these down here. So sometimes, activities become some other term in there. So you can just say, for that particular report, I'm going to do it. Now, FYI, these are global. So if you set it, everybody who generates a report in your account is going to go by this nomenclature here. What a lot of people do, if they have to generate, let's say, one report for the state, and it has to be a specific nomenclature, what you'll do is kind of go in after hours. You'll set the synonyms to where you want them for that state report. You'll generate the report, save it, PDF it, whatever you're going to do with it in here, and then go back and turn them back to the norm in here. So it just gives you the ability to do it as needed. If in your department you have a specific nomenclature you like and you want to change it for everybody, you can do that here. And it'd be global to the department. So those are the basic settings. Again, very seldom do you ever get in there and change any of that. Maybe the notifications, yes, once you turn them on, and the synonyms, yes, if you need that. But other than that, not much. Okay, before I go into user management, any questions on those settings? Oh, okay. User management. This is the big one here. Lots of things you can do with users as far as permissions and adding users and such. Let's go back into here again. So I'm going to go back to my main menu, and I'm going to select users. So these are the folks that you guys have in the system here. Obviously, you're going to select a user with the mouse, and then you've got all the user information down here at the bottom. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. The first thing you see is the username. Most often we use first name dot last name. The reason for that is you got to be cautious because there's about 6,400 users in the system, and every user has to have a unique username because it's across, everybody. The server is across, hundreds of health departments here. So if, for instance, there was another Ginger Clark in there, it's going to come back and say, would you accept Ginger Clark 01 or something along that line? Or you can just go in and change it to something else, maybe Ginger A. Clark, if that was her middle name, something like that. So first name dot last name is typical. Then you're going to put in the first name and the last name here, their title in the organization, their email address, their phone number. By the way, the email address has to be unique as well. You can't have two accounts in there with the same email address. Some people have tried that, one of them being a reviewer account or something. So, and if you need to do that, try to figure out if you can generate maybe a Gmail address or something for them, or if they have a personal email address that you could use. But it does have to be unique across everybody in there. Organization is your department here. Default group. The group that you belong to is typically your default group. So you can go in here and you can select, and it's got all the different groups from the agency. The health director would probably be at the agency level. Somebody who's in emergency preparedness would be at the FEP level. And what that does is when they log in, it takes them right to their default group. So they don't have to go navigating around. If they want to go to the dashboard, the group is already set for them in here. Reports to, who does this person directly report to? And again, it's just going to select from the group of users. This just shows the two people who are in the clinic group here. I can say show all users, then it shows me everybody in there. And then the levels here. So we got a bunch of different levels of users here. Starting at the normal user is exactly that, the normal user. We're going to talk about the permissions here in a minute. The next level up would be manager. Org admin is superpowers. That's everything. And that's the people who will be actually seeing the screen. Nobody, by the way, except an org admin user can even see the user screen. Partner users, we'll talk about that, and read-only users. Now, when I add a new user, let's say I want to go in and add somebody who's going to report to Ginger. I'm going to select Ginger first. I'm going to hit the plus button here. It's going to clear out all these fields except this one down here that says reports to, and it's going to have Ginger's name in there. So I can fill in all the information for that person who's going to report to Ginger and save it, and then that person is in there. Now, if you made a mistake and clicked the wrong boss or the boss changes, you can just go in here and select a new leader in there, but just gives you the ability to skip a step, if you will, while you're entering users in there. So that's pretty much everything that you're going to be doing as you're adding users. I do recommend, and please consult me if you decide you have a user you want to delete, because if you delete a user, you're also going to delete everything that not everything that they did, but the linkage between what they did and any changes. So you won't be able to go back and look at a specific activity and say, Ginger updated this activity, because Ginger won't be in there. So if in fact you want to remove a user, just get hold of me, email me or whatever, and I'll just disable it from this end. So when I disable it, the user stays in the system. All of the history stays in there, but the user cannot log into the system. And then if you need to go back in and clean up some stuff or look at specific things, just let me know. I can reactivate them temporarily so you can look at the information. And nothing else over here other than active users. That's how I deactivate them. I just uncheck this and save it, and they're no longer an active user. Let's talk about org links. You won't change unless you have access to multiple departments. Most people don't. Group links, though, is one that you'll use a lot. So group links determines what does this person have access to. And you'll notice there's two columns. View access is exactly that. It's read-only. So the ones that don't have edit checked, so in this case, the only one that Ginger has edit access to is the clinics group and the training groups down here, as you can see. But it's all you got to do. If you wanted to give her access to the strategic plan, you can just check on that and save it. But most people, the default is you have view access to everything, and you have edit access to your home group. And then you can go back in and tweak it as needed. And again, it takes an org admin user to do the tweaking in here. But you might want to say she's going to have edit access to the FAB plan and edit access to the strategic plan, something along that line. So that's how you're going to determine the thing. Now, if I were to go in here and say, uncheck that, Ginger would not even see the strategic plan. It would not appear on her group screen. So if there are specific things that people maybe don't need to see, maybe when a training's over, you can uncheck the training groups if you want to, things along that line. So you can uncheck them and they don't even have view access anymore. Let's go ahead and uncheck that. So that is the group link. That's a very powerful tool that gives you access at the group level. One of the things that we talked about was the ability to do document management. So we're going to do SOPs and policies and that kind of stuff. If you had a document management group in here, critical documents, I think we called it. If we had that group in here and you wanted a couple of people to be able to update those, but most people just be able to use them, then you can give them view access to that group. And the only thing they can do is look at them. They can download the documents, but they can't upload new versions of it. They can't edit anything in there. They can just look at it. So it gives you a way to be able to use the system as a tool to be able to go get all those critical documents and such in here. Okay, so that's the group links. Again, org links you won't worry about. There is one other one down here that right now, again, only Aaron has access to, and that is this admin links. In the email that you'll get, this real-time planning email, down at the bottom, there's, if you have any questions, contact this person. That's what the admin links are about. The person has to be an org admin user. And for right now, we've got Aaron set up to get the email for every group. You can divide this up. So if you had 2 or 3 different org admins, you can say for the first 5 groups, it's Aaron, and then Ginger or whoever else is going to be the other org admins. You can select that. Or you can give them all access. So you'll have maybe 3 names that appear down across the bottom. Somebody's on vacation, whatever, gives them people to do. And Aaron, if you want to upgrade anybody else to a org admin user, is all you basically have to do is go down and select the user type. Now, again, when you do that, the group links are not going to be set as org admin groups like this. Org admins have full access to all groups. So what you'll also have to do if you change anybody to an org admin user, you'll go to the group links button and you'll give them full edit access if you choose to. But as an org admin, they can choose to as well. And then you're going to probably want to set the admin links as well for them. So if you're going to promote somebody to that, then just go ahead and use that. Let's talk about the different permissions.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Just thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here's the different permission types. Most of the users are normal users, we call them. Access most of the planning functions, in fact, all the planning functions. So they can edit anything from a service all the way down to an activity. They cannot delete higher level planning elements. And when I say higher level, that means higher than an objective. So a normal user can delete an objective. Now remember, when you delete an objective, you're also deleting all the associated activities underneath that objective. So let's say you have one objective and you had 20 activities underneath it. If you delete that objective, in fact, you're deleting 21 planning elements in here. So be cautious. And that's why we limit it for normal users, to try to keep them under control a little bit there. They cannot add groups. A normal user can't add groups. That's org admins only. They're limited by the view edit group links that we talked about here. If you have any services, you may remember at the service initiative screen, the bottom right corner, there's a little hide service checkbox. If you have that checked, then a normal user can't even see those. So it just kind of takes them out of view. And then they do have access to most of the reports. So this is what most people do. They can update any of the plans that are in there. They can actually add parts of plans. They can, from below the group level, they can add a service initiative, goals, objectives, and activities. Manager user is the next type, a little bit higher level than a normal user. So they can delete higher level planning elements. So they can delete from the service initiative all the way down. Now, again, same thing we were talking about. From the service initiative, you're going to have multiple goals. Each goal is going to have multiple objectives. Each objective can have multiple activities. So be cautious, because you can delete lots and lots of planning elements that way. If you accidentally do that, get hold of me as quickly as you can. I can grab up from the backup files. I can grab the planning elements. Now, they do have to be re-entered typically. They'll have to be re-entered. So be cautious doing that, but we can get them back in there if you need to. They cannot delete groups, limited again by the view edit group links. They can see hidden services. So if you hide a service, managers and org admins can see it. They can activate partners. Remember that setting, the admin activate partners? Well, it applies to managers as well. So once the partner's in there, they can go in and click the activate button and get them ready to go. And then access to most of the reports. The superpowers here is org admin, access to all system functions. You can do anything in the system. You can add, edit, and delete groups. Now, again, remember, if you delete a group, you could be deleting lots and lots of stuff. You're going to manage the users, just like I talked about. Manage categories and subcategories. We talked about that for the three-dimensional planning. So the org admin user can add and delete and move those categories around. They can see hidden services. They can activate partners and access to all reports. So org admin is, again, superpowers. You can do anything in the system. Read-only users. They can see selected groups but not edit anything. So if I go in and say, I want this person to just have view access to the strategic plan, I can set that up in the group links button there. So the only thing they'll see when they log in on the group screen is the strategic plan. They can't edit anything. They can run reports on it. And that's kind of what the read-only user is all about, is being able to go in and extract information from the system, but can't edit or update anything. Partner user, typically used with external partners. They access the selected group. So you're going to set the partner user up with the groups that you want. Typically, it's only a few groups with partners if they're working on maybe your strategic plan or emergency operations plan or something like that. Then you're going to give them view access or even edit access. But their edit access is limited. They can't do the same thing that any other user can do. The only thing they can do is update goals, objectives, and activities. So they can't change the goal. They can't change the objective. They can't change the activity, but they can change the traffic light. They can change the data value, and they can add notes. So that's kind of what you want your external partners to be. Now, some of our departments set a lot of their users to do this because they just want to have control. So they're going to set them as partner users. So the only thing they want them to do is update their given goals, objectives, and activities, and then they can do that through the quick update. So those are all the different user types in the system. You can change the users. Org admins can change the users as much as they want. Just when you do that, make sure to go in and if you're going to change people to org admins, update the group links, update the those links there, the ones I was talking about, admin links. My brain just quit. Okay, so that is pretty much everything there is to know about adding users. And I did mention the automated email reminder. When we do the admin links there, this is where they show up down here. So if we had, in this case, Erin would show up down here with her name, email address, and phone number. If you add more org admin users, I'd suggest you put them in there as well. Again, somebody's on vacation, whatever. So it just gives you the people to be able to actually go in and do that. So that's basically what that does, is that right there. Questions?
I don't think I've got any major questions right now. I think probably I'm going to get a little hung up in practice doing some of this, so I'll probably be in
That's
your phone at some point in the near future.
you know what?
Um, I do. Yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you recording this. I would imagine it's probably going to be Selena, Imrinder, and I as org admins. But I do want to like have that conversation with them, and then kind of see if there's anybody else we need to kind of fill into that space.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
even 2 or 3 is
but
good.
yeah,
Okay, a couple other things to talk about is the administrator document management. Real simple. It's just the ability to go in and select a specific group, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't have any documents really in there yet. So let's say the FAB group. If I wanted to be able to go in and look at all of the documents in the FAB group, basically it's just going to show me all the documents in there, so I can go in and I can see where they're attached and everything. Main menu, document management here. And basically it says we have no documents in the FAB group in here. If I click off this, yeah, we got a couple, and these are test documents in there, I think. So, yeah. So this is the document management, and it will show as many as you want. It has, the scroll arrows down here. But a lot of times, let's say, for instance, in the accreditation group, you're going to have your documents, and we talked about using maybe yellow as a draft, traffic light yellow as a draft, green as a finalized document, and gold is submitted. So what it's going to do is show you the latest version of the documents up here, unless you click this button up here. But it'll show you the latest version. And what you want to be able to do in the accreditation one, as you're getting ready for your final site visit, is everything's gold, meaning you've submitted it up into the EFAB system. So basically, you can just click this, and you can scroll all the way down. You can also go in and filter. So I can say I want to filter by, I just want to see greens. They're completed, but they haven't been submitted. Um, or by document type in here. So you get add documents anywhere. So I can go in and say, I just want to see documents added to objectives, which would be your measures in that plan. So lots of things like that. You can search for documents. It'll search across all the different fields in the document in here if you want to do that. But yeah, basically that's it. Now, these are links basically back to the document. So if I wanted to go to the actual planning element that the document's attached to, here's the link. So it tells me it's the Tobacco 2025 group, service 2, goal 3, objective 3, activity 311. So yeah, so that would be the actual link. So if I click on that, it's going to take me to my test group, the tobacco test group, and it's going to take me right to that document in the test group. So you can't really download, or you can download the documents from here, but you can't update them or anything like that. That's why it takes you back to where they belong. So you're updating it in the proper place here. So that's admin document management. Again, it's just a tool to be able to manage the hundreds of documents you'll have in the accreditation process here. One more quick thing we're going to go through here, and that is data export. So let's just kind of look at that. You can export any data in the system. I can go down here. Let's go back to our tobacco group down here and go down and say, I want to export the tobacco cessation plan. So I'm going to go select whatever plan level I want. It can be at any level. Go to the main menu here and then click export operational plan. When I click that, it's going to say, would you? Yes, we do want to. And basically, this looks like gobbledygook. What this is a CSV or comma separated value file. If I go ahead and save this here, it's going to save the file as a .csv file. Once you put it on your desktop or in your files or whatever, and you double click on it, it's going to open in Excel. I would recommend that you save it as an Excel file if you're going to use it. But basically, it's every data element that's in that plan in a CSV file. So you can do that at the plan level. If I go down to my, let's see, goals, reduce smoking in high schools, my objective. So if I wanted to look, remember I think we had a little chart here. We have a chart on the objective. Here's that export button here. So I can export all of the data points in this chart into an Excel spreadsheet. So I get the percentages, I get the dates, I get all of the information. Same thing, it's going to look just like I did it, so I'm not going to show it to you again. So I can export the graphs and charts. I also have the same ability, I believe, from the history file here. Yeah, so I can export the history file as well to a CSV file. So that's the data, and literally you can export anything in the system. So we give you that capability if you want to get really fancy with some different charts and graphs and things like that. Put it into a spreadsheet, and Excel has every imaginable type of chart and graph that you want to be able to use in there. And that is everything I had to go over today. What else would you like to see?
More? I'm a little filled right now.
My brain is overflowing, yes.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you so much. I think I'm probably going to have several documents to send in the
Okay,
future, in the very near future.
please do.
Um, is there, trying to think of how to ask this in a way that it makes sense outside of also my brain. Um, when you put a document in to VMSG, does it like live somewhere specifically independently from what it is linked to?
Um, you mean where's the document actually stored? Is that what you're asking? Or?
I think so.
Well,
I think that's what I'm trying to ask.
yeah, the documents are actually stored up on our secure servers. So
Okay.
they're in LA. If you want to go find them in LA, no, they're in there. But you're going to go back to the place you attach the document, and you can download it. Make the changes, upload a new version, or you can go to that document management tool I was showing you and find the same document and then do the same thing with it. But yeah,
Okay.
the documents are actually stored on the secure servers. They're all encrypted and everything, so they're good.
And if you have a like a partner user who's attached and they're in like a read only mode, are they still able to view the linked documents?
They can view them. Well, that document tool that I showed you on the main menu is only available to you right now. It's,
Okay.
it's an admin tool. But if they go to the actual plan element, like let's say there was a document attached to the objective we were working on here, if there's a document attached here and they're a partner user and a read only user, they can go in and grab that document and look at it. They can't edit,
Okay.
they can't upload anything else, but they can look at the document.
Can they download it?
Yeah, they can download it from here.
Great. I
But
think that sums it up with like immediate questions.
yeah. Okay, well, again, you know that the way to get in there is just go in there and play with it. And if you have any questions, and if you want to do anything, go down to the training group and build yourself a little quick plan and go through all these different things in the training group. That way, you're not going to feel bad about if you accidentally remove something. So, and if after you have a chat with your folks and let me know who you want to promote to org admins, let me know and I'll take care of that for you as well.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, I will send you a link here in a few minutes for this training. And again, anything you need, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a great weekend. We really appreciate your time.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.
Thank you.